TBT, the basketball tournament, continues with the opening round from Syracuse, New York. We welcome you to the top seed, the #1 team in this region, the home team, Boeheim's Army, former champions in 2021, taking on the #8 seed, the Herkimer Originals, in our first round game. We're live at SRC Arena on the campus of Onondaga Community College here in Syracuse. The top half of the bracket is Syracuse. Earlier today we watched We Are D3 and the Green Mountain men from Vermont advance. The winner of this game will take on We Are D3 Monday night at 8 over on FS2. A very pleasant good evening, everybody, wherever you may be. Bob Rathman, Matt Muehlbach, great to have you with us for our coverage of TBT. We're so thrilled to be here in Syracuse. We got a great crowd, Matt. These fans are fired up to watch the Orange, and they are loaded.
They are, and we just saw Jim Boeheim actually walk in. That was the biggest applause, but I think they're loaded, Bob, and focused. You could really tell they took a year off last year, but they're ready to win this thing again. You covered them when they won it just a few years ago, and they brought in a free agent. There's Coach Boeheim, obviously shaking hands, kissing babies, but they brought in the free agent, Frank Mason from the University of Kansas. So a lot of ex-Syracuse players and a couple of other guys. I think they've got a fantastic squad this year.
And Jimmy's former player, Alan Griffin, the head coach of Boeheim's Army. For TBT's Herkimer Originals, they are led by team captain Josh Gregory. And for a lot of these D3 guys, this is a chance to be on a big stage and pull off a huge upset.
Yeah, and a guy that's local. Came from Whitesboro High School, Utica in that area, so playing right here in Syracuse against a big-time team. How much fun is that going to be for Josh? And I think his story, a lot like this team, underdogs. They're going to embrace the underdog and really come out and try to use that to their advantage.
And we are thrilled to have you with us. This is going to be a big night of basketball right here on FS1. TBT continues. We move on to our next game here in Syracuse right after this. And we welcome you back to Syracuse. The Boeheim's Army Club getting set to go up against the Herkimer Originals. The third member of our broadcast team joins us next. Say hello to Sean Dorselis.
Well, thank you, Bob, and happy TBT opening weekend to all of you at home. No player in this Syracuse Regional should feel more at home than Boeheim's Army shooting guard Buddy Boeheim. But Buddy hasn't been waiting in Syracuse for TBT to start. He's been in Las Vegas, playing for the Indiana Pacers Summer League team. Just last night, Buddy played for the Pacers and started hitting 2 threes in a win. He hopped on a red-eye right after the game and arrived in Syracuse at 8:30 this morning. I caught up with Buddy before the game and I asked him, "How are you feeling?" He hit me with his signature smile and a 2-word response: "I'm ready." Bob, who among us doesn't love a Vegas red-eye?
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a lot of different ways to take that, but I understand where you're coming from. But what the cool thing, too, for Buddy, this is his first TBT. He gets to be on the court with his brother, and his dad is sitting on the end of the bench, head coach emeritus.
And I'll tell you what, standing ovation for this Boeheim's Army team. Buddy out here, they can see him, obviously. Happy he's here because they weren't sure he was going to make it. Had 6 points in that game last night as a Pacer. And there's his dad looking on. I can't wait to talk actually about him and Jimmy and what they meant to this Syracuse team when they played.
Opening tip controlled by the Orange. And in Syracuse tradition. These fans, whether it's TBT or in the ACC, they are going to stand until the Orange score. Boeheim's Army coming up short on Buddy's first shot of the game. Herkimer's Originals. This is the 8th seed. They came in late last year when Boeheim's Army actually was unable to play in last year's tournament. They turn it over. Buddy kicks it ahead. Hughes from the corner. A big night for Elijah Hughes playing in his first TBT.
Yeah, it really is. And that break was started by what? A tip. They got a deflection. And this team, by the way, known in college, obviously, for playing zone, Bob. They won't play zone in this game, all man-to-man.
Timko off the bounce, drains it. And the Originals are on the board in a 3-2 game.
Yeah, Timko played at Delaware. Fantastic catch-and-shoot player. We saw it right there.
A lot of size, a lot of experience. Gilliard off the mark. And Boeheim's Army without two bigs. Jamal Wilson was trying to get here. Flight canceled in Philly. He can't make it. Nick Perkins could not make it. So they're down a couple of bigs, but still great talent for Boeheim's Army. The 3-ball missed by McCullough.
And I think big thing for Herkimer's Original, in this early part of the game. Just stay in it, right? Keep the crowd as much as they can out of it. Try to hit a couple shots and really get back on D. I think the big thing is no easy buckets.
Buddy lobs it inside. Christmas blocked. And a great block by Sam Sherry. He played at Elam. They get it out ahead, and a corner 3 from Mike Henry is no good. (3-2) Boeheim's Army. Buddy down the lane, took the contact like a pro would. Took it right to the hole.
Yeah, no foul called. And I'll tell you what, last year calling these games, Bob, I thought the refs did an incredible job. They have a great mix between calling the right play, which they did there. Clearly got him on the arm, but they let contact go. These guys are pros. They know how to play through contact.
Gary Moore got the basket, and he gets the and one for the Originals.
Well, that's one of those things you got to be careful from Gilliard. He actually led all-time steals leader in college history. So if you're anywhere around the ball and you see him, look out, but reaches in right there for the foul.
That ties the game at 5. Elijah Hughes out there for Boeheim's Army. Buddy fires and banks it in. Red eye from Vegas or no? He's still rolling 7s.
That's right. Had a big smile, and I like the big smile. You got to act like, hey, yeah, I did not mean to do that, but fortunate, and then went in.
Christmas with the block. The Army off to the races. Gilliard feeds it in for the slam by Chris McCullough.
And that's what I was talking about, getting back for Herkimer's Originals. They've got to get back on D. You don't want to give easy buckets. All of these teams in this tournament thrive on easy buckets.
And another pickoff. This one batted out of bounds by Devin Brooks. That negated a 2-on-1 break for Boeheim's Army. Here's Buddy. This is what Vegas will do for you.
maybe it's not red eye, it's a little Red Bull maybe he had to drink before this. So nice dish here. I like the unselfishness. Look for the extra player and then an easy dunk.
Jacob Gilliard did not go to Syracuse. He played collegiately at Richmond. Hughes. A drive by Brooks, kick to the corner. Moore misses. Henry, the offensive rebound, gives the Originals an extra chance. Nice spin move on the baseline, but coming across was McCullough to block it.
The length.
Buddy.
Well, again, easy buckets in transition, but all started by Boeheim's Army's defense. They really have that, what we've all come to know, Bob, the length from the Syracuse teams in the past. Played that terrific zone defense.
A foul called on Chris McCullough. See the block.
Yeah, McCullough right there. I don't know if you didn't watch McCullough in college, one of the guys that had unbelievable ceiling. Blew out his knee. Actually only played, I think, 6 games the year he ended up being drafted in the first round. So an incredible talent on this floor.
Daryl Moore at the line. You see Buddy Boeheim, the all-time threes, behind only Jerry McNamara. Off to a great start. He might be playing on fumes, but he looks great.
Well, I think this tournament, one of the keys for me, Bob, almost number one, is just endurance. Like, what kind of shape are you in?
Yep.
Where have you been playing? What have you been doing over the summer, the last year or two? Well, you come from an NBA summer league. He's probably as in good a shape as anyone out here.
Noah Starkey's just checked into the game. This one knocked into the backcourt. Buddy Boeheim saves it over to Hughes. And on the pass, we have a foul on the Originals, Mike Henry.
Well, and you saw Buddy Boeheim get that loose ball right there. I think another function of being in good shape and playing a lot is you have a feel for the game. You know, you're in rhythm for everything, and you can see it right now with him early.
Alan Griffin, former Syracuse standout, now an assistant coach for the Orange, is the head man for Boeheim's Army here this summer. He played 1 year internationally in Slovenia, so he knows what a lot of these guys are going through. From the corner, Gilliard putting it down, and it's 16-6.
16-6, and Frank Mason just checked in, so not even seeing him yet. He's coming off the bench, which is understandable, playing against all these guys that are playing with these guys that have played together.
Jimmy Boeheim also on the floor now for the Army. Out front to Sam Sherry. Shot clock at 10. Sherry with a left-hand flip and a beauty.
Yeah, that was big time. Great defense, actually, just better offense.
There is Mr. Mason. Around to Hughes, open man Jimmy Boeheim. He'll drive it and score it.
Well, what sticks out to me right now, passing the ball, unselfishness. This team is connected.
And a dunk for Derry Moore.
Not connected there on defense. Got to get back, but really impressed so far with Boeheim's Army on their connectiveness, how they're sharing it, really playing together.
And another three ball from Jacob Gilliard. 20-10. They changed that corner three to a 2, so it's 20-10. Try to reverse, did Brooks. Jimmy gets knocked aside. The foul on the Originals brings us, or should, to a timeout with 2:56 to play in this opening quarter. Boeheim's Army, the top seed, and looking like a top seed right out of the gate. TBT, the basketball tournament, is powered by Puma and by Or Health. Or Health. TBT. The basketball tournament is powered by Puma and by Or Health. Or Health, a daily pill to drink less or quit. And Purple. Purple, less pain, better sleep. The Finger Lakes in beautiful central New York State. The backdrop for TBT here in Syracuse. We welcome you to our coverage, a 20-10 game. Boeheim's Army Herkimer Originals. Buddy Boeheim leads the Army back out onto the floor. The Army's played just a great first quarter. They haven't turned the ball over. And a lay-in off a beautiful feed. Noah Starkey, the big 7-footer, putting it down 22-10.
Yeah, that's the 6th assist off of 9 made buckets for Boeheim's Army, and you can just tell they really understand the game. High IQ, terrific passing from this team, very, very good chemistry from the start.
And even with Buddy away from the ball club at Summer League, they've gone through a pretty intense week of practice here to get ready. Corner three is perfect. Malachi Richardson.
Not only are they passing it well, but they're making shots too. That's the other thing we see a lot in this tournament is people missing shots early because they might get a little fatigued.
Buddy dribbled it off his foot, loose ball. Jimmy down to the floor, and they call a hell ball. And it's the little things to make an offense click.
Yeah, using that screen and pass 1, 2, 3, 4 passes around to the corner. This team, it'd be fun to play with them. You know, and it's contagious when you share the ball like that. The chemistry gets better with every pass.
Sherry, 4-3 and a much-needed bucket for the Originals.
Yeah, the lefty can really shoot it. And that, you know, it could be good for them because they could really spread the court with him at the 5, put him out on the perimeter, and let their other wings get to the rim.
That is the Originals' first 3 of the quarter. 25-13. Mason. Richardson. Buddy wide right. Brooks the rebound.
Interesting, Bob. You can see Frank Mason, I think, really trying to fit in with this team right now. Early on, making the right play, not trying to do too much. And that was nice.
Foul on Starkey.
Sherry just hit that 3, and so you got to come out and contest the 3. He used that to his advantage and then got to the rim, and really nice play there.
Dave Golobiowski is the head coach of the Herkimer Originals, the man they call Gumby. And they should put him in the post, too. He's 6'8".
He's a big dude. Great guy. Talked to him before this game, and just really talked about his team and the opportunity they have to play this Army team here. And these, I mean, really stars in the New York area. You think about this history at Syracuse and Jim Boeheim, and I remember, Bob, as a little kid, my favorite college basketball player of all time, Dwayne Pearl Washington. Favorite player of all time in college.
Mason, follow, up and good by Jimmy Boeheim. The Originals are a semi-pro team. They play in the Northeast Division of the ABA, the American Basketball Association. So they have some continuity. But this is a mighty challenge against this team and this crowd. Sparks the lay-in.
Well, and you can tell they kind of got punched in the nose early and seem to have kind of now recovered just a bit.
Richardson. Shot clock is off. Devin Brooks, 32 years young in TBT. Feeds it down the middle to Sherry, and he lays it in. 27-18, 7 seconds, 6. Jimmy gets his pocket picked at the end. At the buzzer, just off the mark by Josh Gregory. Boeheim's Army came out smoking, and they lead it 27-18. Head coach emeritus Jim Boeheim on the bench tonight here in Syracuse. And the top seed rolling early on their home floor.
Boxes and elbows. If this happens, this guy's supposed to be here, this guy's supposed to be here, and we got somebody in the post, all right? Let's bring everybody over. Throw the kitchen sink. We're not leaving nobody on an island, all right? No ISO ball here, man, all right? Okay, is it our ball?
It should be theirs. It should be theirs.
No, they got the jump. Whose ball is it? Good. Good.
We begin the second quarter with Boeheim's Army on top of Herkimer Originals 27-18. Let's go inside the huddle and hear from head coach Alan Griffin, powered by Puma.
Boxes and elbows. If this happens, this guy's supposed to be here, this guy's supposed to be here, and we got somebody in the post, all right? Let's bring everybody over. Throw the kitchen sink. We're not leaving nobody on an island, all right? No ISO ball here, man, all right?
And that ball's been moving. You talk, Matt, about the assists in the first quarter.
Yeah, they did such a great job, especially early in that quarter. That's what really got them in the lead, and they did miss a three late. They had a couple turnovers, Bob, which they did not have early. And then I thought the Originals kind of got their footing in the latter part of that first quarter, played a little better. They turned it over early and then stopped all the turnovers. And you can see there, Coach Alan Griffin, I think Alan has done already a great job assembling the team, working with their GM. I think leadership in this tournament, as we see an awesome pass to start.
Chris McCullough with that lay-in, 29-18. Sparks. Josh Gregory double, gets rid of it. The lefty Sherry up short, rebound to Frank Mason.
Great pass ahead.
Buddy takes it up short. And we've got another held ball, and the Arrow's going to give it to the Originals. This is the third game of the day here in Syracuse. The #1 seed in front of these home fans. It's such a wonderful atmosphere. Of course, we all know about Orange basketball, but for this tournament, and this one knocked out of bounds, 16 to shoot. I think what makes it so unique about TBT, Matt, is that so many of these players are playing overseas, and they don't have a chance for this. They're used to playing in cold, empty gyms, and their families and friends can't come see them play, and they get a chance to play at home.
Well, and certainly the ex-Syracuse players played in big arenas, Carrier Dome, Frank Mason at Thog Allen. But a lot of these players, you look at this Originals team, they've played in really small arenas in college or in high school. So this is a first for them. And I think they're playing really well. The Originals are doing a really nice job just playing as a team. Not as talented as this Army team, but really came back in that late first and early second.
McCullough draws the contact. He'll shoot a pair.
I was excited to watch McCullough live. I've never seen him live. I've just heard about the ceiling on his talent level. We talked about him getting hurt, first-round draft pick, but his length, his athleticism, just everything he can bring to the table. If he's locked in, Bob, I really think this Army team has a chance to win it all. Now, even if he doesn't play perfect, they can win it all. But if he plays well, look out.
That 1 year you referenced earlier, Matt, for Chris McCullough here in Syracuse was the 14-15 season. So here's a guy who's now 30 years old. He's been playing overseas, and he comes back home, and whether you play 16 games or 160 for Syracuse, you are a member of this family for life, and they love you.
They absolutely do. In fact, we were watching, you did the games earlier with Eric Diebendorf, the guy they called Devo, and he was getting ready for this as the assistant coach. Nice drive to the rim there. But Devo is a fan favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody here wanted to talk to Devo and get a picture with him.
Into the ball game, Charles Pride just joined Boeheim's Army this week. Nice backdoor cut, nets him two.
Hey, on my list is just fundamentals in this tournament, right? Do the right thing. Rebound the ball, don't turn it over. And then just a simple backdoor cut right there leads to a layup.
Turnover. Gilliard gives to Pride. The Army up 31-22 with 6:35 to go in the second. Jacob keeps that Nash dribble alive. Here's Boeheim. No from the corner, but he's cooled off since the 2 threes early. Timko. Gilliard missing the three. Gregory with the rebound. Whitesboro, New York native. Wonderful point you made too, Matt, about Herkimer Originals sort of calming the game down just a bit. It was a racehorse start, but they've managed a 9-point difference right now, playing pretty well.
They really are. They've got back on defense. They've slowed that down. If they can get into a half-court set on D, they have a chance. If it's up and down, they have no chance. And then you see them on offense. They've done a nice job, I think, kind of taking the air out of the ball, getting themselves in a set. They don't need to play super fast.
Second season in TBT. They got blown out last year. The Herkimer 9 Foundation. And one of the interesting stories of this Herkimer team is the fact that they will tell you basketball originated in Herkimer, New York.
Yeah, you told me that story the other day. I said, wait a second, I thought it was James Naismith.
The rules, the rim, the net that they use, all originated in Herkimer before Springfield.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure the people at the Hall of Fame in Springfield are not too keen on this story, but that's the tale they tell in Herkimer, New York.
And they're sticking with it. Like, that's the main thing on their website, right?
There's Buddy. Nice rhythm.
And I thought that time Buddy got, like you said, rhythm and really got his feet set, got himself under, he got over his feet, really in rhythm there, and that was an easy jump shot for him.
34-24. Gregory That ball's going to be picked up in the backcourt, or no, it's just going to roll out of bounds.
You know, Bob, one of the coolest things I thought looking at this tournament, and especially with Boeheim's Army, and you look at the Boeheims, you look at Buddy, and you look at Jimmy, just how great they were as college players. And you think of college coaches, it is a rarity to ever have a son who's even on your team, but that is really good. A lot of times they might be a walk-on, they might be a kid you just bring in. They were fantastic, both of them fantastic players.
Boeheim off the turnover, ball fake, up left-hand foul. He'll shoot 2.
Yeah, great decision there by Buddy. He was going to pass it to Pride, but the lane kind of closed out. Pride went to the right, and if nobody picks you up, the #1 rule as a ball handler, take it to the rim.
You know, it's interesting as we see Buddy go to the foul line. You talk about a guy with this kind of a last name in basketball. This is Peach Jam weekend down in South Carolina. Playoffs this weekend. The Peach Jam is where Buddy Boeheim really came onto the national scene. He matched up against Penny Hardaway's #1 AAU team, hit 7 threes, and Buddy's team won, and it was game on from them.
After that, yeah, he had to show it, because in some ways he was always trying to prove himself. Hey, I'm not just a coach's son, I can play. And I think both the Boeheims, what's interesting about them, obviously they have the IQ, right? That's going to fall from their dad. Their dad was a really good player, actually. Not many people know that. But their dad was fantastic when he played in the pros. And but they can shoot it. To me, the height and the shot is what makes them really dangerous.
Gregory gets an and one.
Boeheim's only foul number 7 by Syracuse, his first.
4:20 left in the second quarter. And you see Elijah Hughes trying to get there, but just a little too late. And a 3-point play opportunity for Josh Gregory.
And the scouting report on Gregory is to get him off the 3, make him a driver, but with that size at 6'8", played at SUNY Poly, D3 school. We talked about him in the open. Just a fantastic kid as well as a great shooter.
Mason. Bingo.
I think that's his first point, right?
A lot of weapons out there, partner.
I think he's, and again, I really like how he's kind of working himself into the squad.
The rebound belongs to Charles Pride, and the Boeheim Army team comes. And we've got a steal. Pride gives it back. Gilliard at the top.
Pride's doing a nice job off the bench for them.
Mason stumbles, gets the ball back. And this one out of bounds. And it's going to belong to the Originals.
I'll tell you what, pretty good defense there by Timko. Really got in front of Frank right there and doing a nice job hanging in right now. The Originals, Boeheim's Army, talented.
Well, this was the scene back in Dayton, Ohio. And the Boeheim Army tried so hard for so long to win this thing, and it finally came to pass. A great battle against Team 23, and there is the game winner from Kiefer Sykes, who became an honorary member here in Syracuse of the basketball program. Jim was there to watch it, and it was a great championship game.
There's Devendorf right there, right by the trophy.
And these are our past champions, brought to you by AARP. Join AARP and get instant access to member benefits. The domination of Overseas Elite was something to see. But since that kind of passed, the talent has gotten better every year. The competition has gotten better. And there is Eric Devendorf, an assistant coach on this Boeheim's Army team, has just become a summertime staple.
Yeah, and it was great talking to him before about the team, about his life and as a player here. Talked about Jim Boeheim, some of the things he did so well. And you guys were great early, by the way. You and Bob, you and Debo were awesome on the call those first two games.
We had two wacky endings in the Elam Ending for sure. Stepping into the three is Hughes. But this young man had such a great run, and he was one of the COVID kids. They beat North Carolina in the ACC tournament. They get ready to play Louisville. It looks like the games are going to be played. Now all of a sudden they cut off the tournament. Everything shut down. First time back, Elijah Hughes. We'll be right back. .26 is our score. And take a look at this beautiful stroke by Elijah Hughes.
Now you look at him again, got under it like Buddy Boeheim did. And once these guys get their feet under it, Bob, you can tell they may not be able to hit shots off balance like they used to, but you can see the skill level just come back so easily.
Eric Timko with the travel.
Well, I think for Hughes, first time on this Army team, so a lot to, just maybe not a lot, but a little to prove and on that great career. 39th pick in 2020 from the Jazz.
And they've been trying to get him to play.
So many good players here.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, a lot to choose from, right?
It is incredible. I was fascinated that they didn't play the zone.
Yeah.
Sam Sherry, his first personal, team third.
Foul on Sam Sherry, 2:31 to play. Allen Griffin's Boeheim's Army, they've hit 8 threes already. Really looking good as the #1 seed here to start at home. On the handoff, Hughes.
I thought that one, good looking shot. He was open, but fading away from three, not as easy as that last one he hit.
Terry Moore gives it up. Henry on the drive. Moore couldn't finish. The final swatted out of there by Christmas. He was Scrooge on that block.
Yeah, he did not bring the presence to that defensive play, and that's what they need from him. A little energy, and you can see the crowd feel it. He reminds me a little bit of Cauley Stein. I did Cauley Stein last year with Kentucky, crowd favorite, but may not have the same tools they had when they saw him in school, and use that energy and kind of the guile to figure it out, right? I mean, that's what it was.
At the other end. Jimmy gives it up to the corner, and there's Hughes again.
See, Hughes went straight up that time. A better looking prep on his shot. Man, he can absolutely stroke it.
44-28 Boeheim's Army. 9 threes for the home team.
You know, usually the strategy in this tournament is get easy buckets, try to get in the paint, get on the break, try to get to the free throw line. This is phenomenal what they're doing from the three.
Let's check in with Sean.
Well, Matt, you know that every college basketball player wants to end his career on a win. Elijah Hughes accomplished that feat, but not in the way you'd imagine. Hughes was the leader of that 2019-2020 Syracuse team whose season was cut short due to COVID. Hughes ended on a win over North Carolina in the ACC tournament, and then the next day, the season was done. Hughes said that playing a part of Boeheim's Army with Jimmy, with the reverse layup there, Hughes said that being a part of Boeheim's Army gives him a chance to get some redemption and finish what he started.
Elijah played 2 years here after transferring in from East Carolina. Jumper short by Devin Brooks. And it's going to be Boeheim ball. What, nice move on the baseline by Jimmy Boeheim.
He can play, and again, he has size like his brother, and using that size and length to get around to the other side, and that was pretty darn good.
Oh, the Boeheim family loving that.
Yeah, I mean, it's how cool is that to see your two sons playing in this event with all these fans coming back and enjoying what they remember from this team and all the great plays and teams and memories. And look at Coach Boeheim. I mean, that's about as happy. He was probably never that happy coaching.
We have a timeout on the floor with 52 seconds. Let's see if this is a 2 or a 3. Looks like a 2 from here.
Yep. Easy call there. You know, one of the things, and again, talking to Devo, and I've got a good friend, Stevie Thompson, that played at Syracuse back in the 80s, a fantastic player for those Boeheim teams. Came out from Crenshaw High School to play for Jim Boeheim, and just talking about him, he said he did such an amazing job of really being calm all the time. You know, would make his plays, figure out what they're going to do. Here's our game plan, but didn't need to stray from the game plan. Just had it figured out. Let his guys play too. He let them play through mistakes, which I think is something sometimes you see coaches, you know, get away from, and it tightens players up. He did a great job doing that, and I think the other thing he did, he organized a lot of incredible personalities and some egos and some incredibly great players in high school. That is not easy to collect them all in one and make them a good team.
Lob and a beauty to Hughes. What a pass by Gilliard.
We'll give that assist to Alan Griffin on the bench because he called that out of the timeout. We were going on and on about Jim Boeheim. He probably used Jim Boeheim's play from his playing days. That was a great play. It looked like maybe against a zone.
What a dunk. Free throw.
Yeah, that play actually, it's actually a fairly simple play. You just do a couple back screens on the low side of a zone, and you can get it open if the screens are good, and they work.
Excellent ball handling and passing. Boeheim's Army 15 assists on 19 buckets. Sparks inside. Sherry turns, misses. And we got a foul.
I say, Bob, the third game I ever played in college was against Syracuse in the Alaska Shootout.
Oh, wow.
They had Derek Coleman and Ronnie Cycli as the front line, and I remember them running a play similar to that. Sherman Douglas to Derek Coleman, DC, who I think is one of the all-time underrated basketball players in history.
As talented as anybody.
And you covered him way more than I ever saw him. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. I mean, that guy could absolutely play.
Unbelievable.
And one of the early stretch fours. He didn't really stretch. They did in the pros, but could have even been more if that was really what the team asked for.
If he were playing today, you couldn't pay him enough.
You couldn't pay, yep.
48-30. Mike Henry at the line. 7.5 to go in the half. Gilliard brings it up. In the middle to Buddy. Mason at the buzzer. just a little off. But a solid first half from Boeheim's Army.
Yeah, I thought really connected and focused in the ways you want to be competitive towards winning, not competitive towards points or stats or what am I going to get. They really look like a team to me.
Head coach Alan Griffin coming over to chat. Let's send it to Sean.
Appreciate it, Coach. Coach Griff, you told me yesterday at practice the two things you were looking for were for your team to play defense and to play together. How do you assess your first half performance?
I think the first half they did a really good job of playing together. We gave up some offensive rebounds and we missed some free throws. If not, we would have had a really perfect half. So we're just going to go back to the locker room and address, obviously some matchup stuff. But other than that, guys play well.
In your day job, you're the assistant coach for the Orange, but you're in the big boy chair here for Boeheim's Army. What's the biggest difference?
They looking at you. They not, when I'm working with Coach Autry, they all looking at him. Now they looking at me like, what's up, Coach? And I'm just trying to do it to the best of my ability, but I'm having fun doing it.
Good to see it. 18-point lead going into the half. See you in the second half. Thanks. Bob and Matt, back to you.
Thank you, Sean. And of course, it was Adrian Autry who took over for Jim Boeheim when Jim called it quits a few years back. Halftime here at Syracuse. Boeheim's Army 48 and the Herkimer Originals 31. Stay with us. Halftime straight ahead right here on FS1. Halftime continues here from Syracuse, New York, TBT 2025. Stay with us. We'll be back with more stats and highlights coming up. Halftime continues here from Syracuse, New York, TBT 2025. Stay with us. We'll be back with more stats and highlights coming up. Boeheim's Army 48, Herkimer Originals 31. That's our halftime score here in Syracuse, New York. The #1 seed looking good right out of the gate here in this first half. Bob and Matt back with you. And the difference in this game, my boy, is the three-point line, 9-1.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just, do you make shots or I make shot, right? And the orange pin was making the shot. The orange was making the shots out there. 9 of 16 from three. I thought they got better shots, though. It wasn't just, hey, we can shoot it better than you. And I think on the other side, the Originals had problems getting shots that were really contested.
Our halftime stats are brought to you by Purple. Purple, less pain, better sleep. What else jumps out at you?
Well, I mean, to me, I thought the turnovers early were going to be a big thing, but the Originals did a good job slowing that down. I mean, points in the paint were equal. I mean, it's just, I just think Boeheim's Army, as I said, they get better shots. They're a little quicker on the offensive end than the Originals.
And there's a cohesion to their offense.
Great call.
Third quarter, straight ahead. Stay with us. TBT, the basketball tournament, is powered by Puma and by AARP. TBT, the basketball tournament, is powered by Puma and by AARP. Join AARP and get instant access to member benefits. .48-31 Boeheim's Army in front. We have a situation, Matt, that needs to be addressed. For Boeheim's Army, Rakeem Christmas has switched jerseys to number 32. The man's last name is Christmas. He has to wear 25.
There's only one number, right?
You can't wear 32.
Hey, when you score 0 points in the first half, maybe that's what it was. And again, Alan Griffin coming out of timeouts or coming out of halftime with just sensational play calling to get a bucket. I agree with you, Bob. That's a great observation.
Nice move inside by Eric Timko. 50-33.
Timko, a shooter, but we've seen him get inside a couple times. And it looks like the original's playing zone.
How about Jacob Gilliard? Comes out, gets the layup, and now hits a three.
I'll tell you, Gilliard was terrific in that first half. 6 assists, no turnovers. He was kind of the unappreciated MVP of that first half, just by the way he played and shared the ball. Now he gets some buckets.
Kick out. This is Mike Henry for the Originals, firing and coming up short.
The Originals played zone on that last possession, maybe the first one as well. I want to see if they go back to that. Probably not, but old Syracuse players very used to that. Look at the link.
Boy, that's Elijah Hughes getting up to knock that one away. And Buddy tees him up for a corner three.
You asked me what was the big part of the first half. It's sharing the ball, and it's not just sharing the ball, but it's the ability to, they've got to respect Buddy Hield. They come out on him, and he finds the open man.
A miss by Devin Brooks. Pass batted down. 7:12 to play in the third, and Boeheim's Army's up 56-33. Elijah Hughes has had quite the TBT coming out party.
I'll tell you what, you can just see the talent jump off the screen with Hughes, both in really many areas. His shooting, his Hield launches, Boeheim launches a huge three, a deep one.
59-33. And a timeout for Herkimer's Originals. Boeheim's Army's up to 12 made threes in the game. And they are up 26. Timeout, Syracuse. On August 2nd, and I cannot wait to watch this. Major League Baseball is taking over the iconic Bristol Motor Speedway for a must-watch, one-of-a-kind event, the Braves and the Reds.
Wow, that's going to be awesome.
Major League Baseball game August 2nd on Fox, the Speedway Classic. I am so stoked to watch that.
Well, I thought I loved the old Field of Dreams game that they had in Iowa.
A loose ball is going to roll out of bounds and belong to Boeheim's Army.
Gilliard causing that pressure on defense. I would not want to bring the ball up against Gilliard. And then you go to the bench and you got Frank Mason, former player of the year in college basketball.
Gilliard.
I love how Buddy Boeheim, when he catches, he's so fundamentally sound. He catches and he's ready to shoot a three. Like, it's in the pocket the moment he catches, so he can shoot it, or he can actually dribble or pass within a half second. It's the old Phil Jackson rule. You better do something with it right before even really a quarter of a second. Make your decision.
.20 seconds on the shot clock. Christmas. And powers it in.
And that probably was an on and one. They've been letting him play. That one was a lot of contact that he had to play through.
Hanging, hitting. Gary Moore and a foul. And Christmas is asking, hey, what about the other end?
That's right. Yeah, there was a lot more contact on the other end, and he's able to bank it in. But he got the post pass so out in front, almost by the elbow, so really had to work his way through. And you can see there, not happy he did not get the call, and even more unhappy that the call was given on the other end. I agree with him.
61-36. An impressive opening night for Boeheim's Army.
So you can just see when he comes off that screen, he's ready to fire. And you get that from
Christmas, the offensive rebound. He'll roll it in. That was Chris McCullough who hung the ball on the rim. But they got the bucket anyway, 63-36.
And Christmas seems, with the number 32, to be a little more engaged out there. I'm hoping he doesn't go away from 25, Bob.
But I am lodging an official protest. You cannot wear number 32. I'm sorry. Hughes!
Wow. Buddy had Gilliard on the left, but he waited patiently so he could get Hughes down the middle. That was beautiful basketball.
Mike Henry with the lay-in for the Originals.
And good job by Henry.
Buddy lets it fly. No hesitation.
Yeah, you can really now see Buddy and what he's been playing at that NBA Summer League. Just seems super in rhythm.
Brooks, he connects. Devin Brooks played collegiately at Creighton. 68-40.
Yeah, Brooks, very talented defense, offensive player.
Backdoor cut intended for Hughes. And the ball out of bounds before he collided with Eric Timko. Hughes is going to come out of the game.
There's that finish. Now watch Boeheim right here. He looks off the guy on the wing, which was Gilliard, and then drops it to Hughes. And Boeheim, as I talked about, always ready. The ball's always in that catch position, like a holster almost, like he's ready to shoot it.
The crowd, which was in full throat in the first quarter, settling back, enjoying the runaway. Sparks will drive and score. Frank Mason lets the defense relax a bit. Now ahead to Buddy Boeheim. Buddy and Jimmy on the floor together.
Played 1 year together, right? I think they played their
all three, 21-22. In and out, and stays out. All three were together, Jimmy, and Buddy.
That's right.
On the 21-22 Syracuse team. 68-42.
Jimmy, I think, played those first few years at Cornell and transferred.
Picked up by Gary Moore, and misses from the baseline. Rebound and run, Buddy Boeheim. He followed, no good by Noah Starkey.
Well, the refs are being consistent, letting them play, which I like.
Turnaround by Jeremiah Sparks. And a lot of contact on the split of the double team. Josh Gregory picks up the foul. A timeout in Syracuse. Boeheim's Army marching all over the Herkimer Originals. TBT, we got action everywhere. All four regions are rolling right now. We've got the Ville with team Florida DRC with the big lead there. We switch to Kansas City at the bottom. And then over in our fourth and final region featuring Carmen's Crew in Indianapolis, the defending champs. They are tied with the Green Machine. Here in Syracuse, it's Boeheim's Army 68, Herkimer 44. Bob Rathman, Matt Muehlbach, and Sean Dorcelis with you here from Syracuse. Frank Mason. You know, there's an old baseball manager, Matt, Hall of Famer. A lot of people familiar with the name Earl Weaver.
Yeah. Managed
the Orioles. He used to say, in regards to like a team like Boeheim's Army with all this talent, they got deep depth. And it's so true. They're rolling 10 guys here, and all 10 can play.
That's awesome. Weaver, some of the greatest YouTube manager umpire videos I've ever seen in my life.
Turn that cap around.
Oh, yeah.
Get right in the umpire's face.
They did it different back then in the 70s and 80s, didn't
man. And you know, if they go to the robo umpire,
they? Yeah. Oh, they're going to take all that away.
no more arguments.
We need somebody back in the booth able to.
Jimmy Boeheim cans the free throw as we check in with Sean.
Back into the game for Boeheim's Army, number 11.
Originals. Well, guys, number 22 for Herkimer's Originals, Maceo Jack, has a familiar name for Syracuse basketball fans. He's the son of Syracuse women's basketball head coach Felicia Leggett Jack. I caught Coach Jack at halftime, who, for the record, is still proudly wearing orange tonight, and she was ready to get in coach mode. Her message to her son, be more aggressive.
And a foul on Starkey. Here's Mom with the discerning coach's eye.
That's right. Now, Jack played at Buffalo, was a very good player, physical player, got downhill, could really score in transition, and it's been tough for the Originals to get in transition here. I thought they might have a little more opportunity, but Boeheim's Army hasn't missed any threes.
Yeah.
You don't get any long rebounds.
Mother and son here at TBT. Moore putting it in. Mason turns it over, yes. And a block by Jimmy Boeheim, and a beauty. Up the floor to Pride. Jimmy kicks. Malachi, he connects on another three. That's 14 threes for Boeheim's Army.
Well, that's just simple screen and roll. And when you do the roll right there, the low guy has to come up. He either has to make a decision, not come up and help and play drop. He came up and helped. What happens? The corner guy's open, and here they go again running.
Off the turnover, Jimmy got grabbed for a foul that stopped the break. Derry Moore with the personal.
I think the other thing we've seen with this team is the length, and that's been classic Syracuse basketball historically, right?
Jimmy getting it done at the defensive end. Then Malachi Richardson, he was a part of that 21 TBT championship team.
You did that final game. What was that team like compared to this team, Bob?
Well, you know, they had so many non-Syracuse stars on that team that really carried them, really got them over the hump, because, you know, the history of Boeheim's Army is they were close, but they never could get that brass ring.
Right.
And then, you know, we showed you the game-winning field goal, Kiefer Sykes. You know, they added DJ Kennedy from overtime, overseas elite, and you know, they just had so much talent on that team, but it was a different kind of a team. This team is a little more homegrown than that one.
Yeah, a lot more Syracuse guys.
Yep.
And some different players, obviously.
Yes.
Some younger guys.
Well, don't you think in watching TBT, if you've got an alumni team and you can hit guys right around 24, 25 years old to about 30. Here are the alums on this year's team.
Yeah.
That's the sweet spot. When you got guys in that age range and they're good players, you could do some damage in this thing.
Well, and if you look, one of their best players, of course, Buddy, you know, graduated in 22. So you've got to have a couple of your stars that are really young. And man, they are, I don't know what they did for shooting practice, but they have been on fire.
Sparks missing. Chris McCullough. Oh, Jimmy had his man sealed, and a hold is called.
You don't often see a guy seal his man when the other guy's at half court. And you're looking for an entry pass from 45 feet.
Number 23, Jeremiah Sparks is first. He's fifth. They are now over bonus.
And a lob picked off by Sparks. He'll bounce it inside, and we got another whistle. It's going to be out of bounds. 24.2 left in this third quarter will set the score for the Elam Ending later in the fourth period. Damian Call, number 30. Now it goes to Chris Vallo, and that's out with 15.8.
Vallo, a pretty good move, but the problem is you've got an NBA first-round pick, and McCullough right there with extraordinary length and athleticism, just a great block.
Sam Sherry comes back in for Herkimer.
Now, my two favorite things of this tournament, Bob, just the competitiveness of the tournament. You know, it's win or go home. There's no all tournament teams. There's no, you know, there's not. I mean, it's more about it's just winning. And the Elam Ending. I love the Elam Ending.
Me too.
I think they should introduce it into college basketball.
And speaking of the Elam Ending, we will have that for you next in the fourth quarter. We're at the end of 3. Boeheim's Army in front of a packed house here at SRC Arena. 78-54 leaders. We go to the fourth on Fox. Tomorrow on Fox, the IndyCar Series hits the streets of Toronto where the fastest man on earth, Alex Palou, looks to continue his season for the ages. That's tomorrow at noon Eastern, only on Fox. Welcome back to Syracuse, everybody. Fourth quarter. Boeheim's Army with a 78-54 advantage. We will play down to the 4-minute mark. Media timeout in this fourth quarter, and that's when the Elam Ending kicks in. We'll add 8 points to the presumably Boeheim's Army lead, set the target score, and determine our final score and winner tonight. A little push shot is good by Maceo Jack. Your mom had to like that aggressive move.
That's right.
Hughes goes cross court to Christmas. Saved by Buddy Boeheim. Hughes. Oh. Does he have a soft touch or what?
And the great thing about Hughes is he goes inside out. We've seen the three. We've seen him get to the rim. And now we see the mid-range off the bounce. That guy is freaky talented.
I think they call that a 3-level score.
That's right. That's right.
Christmas with the rebound.
Yeah, he can get to his spots really whenever he wants, and he's trying to right there, but he'll get his other guys involved. Uh-oh.
McCullough with the up and under. Sweet.
And that's one of those guys you show up and watch, and even if you don't know basketball, you say, who is number 5?
Gregory missed the corner 3. Buddy Boeheim the rebound. Pass deflected. Turnover. Pass deflected, but through. And nice finger roll for Damian Call. (82-58).
You wonder if Boeheim's Army might slow it down just a tad to get to the Elam.
Yeah, they
right?
should. The game is not in doubt. Makes sense. Just milk the clock and get it down to the 4-minute mark. Sam Sherry with the lay-in.
Well, and remember, right, 6 games
to
win all of this, and endurance, a big factor.
Teams do get a day off tomorrow. Come back and play a doubleheader on Monday night here in Syracuse. We'll have it on FS2 on Monday. Nice move by Christmas. Well, shaking off the fact that he's having to wear 32.
And his game has exploded ever since. Well, that was an open ball screen. What I mean by that is nobody on the left side, so nobody to come over and help on the ball screen. Christmas, easy deuce.
Hughes. Blocked, tipped, stolen.
Well, you can see some of the players, even like Hughes to me, in much better rhythm even right now than he was in the first 5 minutes of the game. And the Originals making a little bit of a run here, not quitting. Tough team. Well, and I think that's what Alan Griffin is doing right now, saying, look, we can take a little time, get to our Elam ending.
Oh, what a pass. Oh, and a dunk for Chris McCullough.
Well, you called it. The pass set it up, but McCullough with the finish. And
a little extra flavor on that dunk.
Maybe one guy in this arena, this gym, that can do that. McCullough right now. That was such a good pass. Look where he throws it from right here, from a good 25 feet and right on him.
Off the dribble.
Showed some strength right there through contact. Didn't get the end one.
He could have thrown that pass through a car wash and the ball wouldn't have gotten wet.
Love it.
Back to the basket for Sherry. Powers it in. Nicely done by Sam Sherry.
Yeah, Sherry showed a nice game inside and out, and hard to guard that left-handed over the right shoulder.
You know, he just finished his college basketball at Elon last March, and this is his first taste going up against the pros. Well done.
Well, a lot of these guys, the original guys, trying to play somewhere, right? Trying to get some tape that they can show to some ball clubs overseas, and that's going to be a good highlight for him. He's got a number of highlights in this game.
Boeheim. It just goes to show you that what happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas. Buddy has brought that sweet three-pointer home.
Yeah, and the way he stopped on a dime. He was running full speed. That is not easy to do, and then rise up with the right amount of rhythm, and he's got a gorgeous jump shot. I mean, he is a big-time shooter.
40 seconds away from the Elam ending. And a foul. They're going to tag Richardson on this one.
Now watch how fast he runs into this, coming off the delay there, and then just stops on a dime. This perfect balance, the key to that shot. Boom.
That is the 21st three-pointer for Boeheim's Army.
We need some numbers. Like, where does that rank in TBT history? I mean, maybe there's a bunch more than that, but that's got, I wonder if that's the most this year so far.
It's a great point you make, Matt, because these TBT games don't last that long.
Right, right. That's 9-minute quarters, and then you get to the Elam Ending.
Yeah.
And it's only 8 points from there. So
Jeremiah Sparks with the free throw. (89-67). Boeheim's Army taking it down to the 4-minute mark in the Elam Ending.
Well, I haven't seen every team yet, but certainly Boeheim's Army putting everybody on notice that they are going to be a factor in this tournament.
Correction, 16 threes for the team. Make it, no, we got a whistle and a shot clock violation on Boeheim's Army. 21 points for Buddy, 16 made threes for Boeheim's Army. It's a little tough when you got Boeheim's Army and Buddy Boeheim.
And I called him Buddy Healed earlier.
And I think the Army will, well, they're going to come up, take a timeout off the turnover. So 3:55, wipe that off. When we come back, no game clock. We've got the Elam Ending, and we'll add 8 points to that Boeheim's Army score and come back with the Elam Ending in a moment. And since this is the first game from this regional, if you're just joining our TBT coverage this weekend, a refresher on the Elam Ending. We have stopped the clock under 4 minutes, set that target score. You do that by adding 8 points to the team ahead. So for Boeheim's Army, that means add 8 to 89, get 97. The first team to hit that score wins.
Well, and let's see what Alan Griffin does, the head coach for Boeheim's Army. He's been terrific after timeouts so far this game, and I'm sure he's got something up his sleeve here to get him off to a good start. And, of course, they had the ball, called timeout for that Elam Ending to start. They get the ball after the timeout, so see what they run.
You have to adjust your thinking. as a player, you're so used to that game clock at the end of the game. Well, the game clock is no factor. You've got 30 seconds on a shot clock to get a good shot like that and work your offense. You don't have to be in a rush.
Well, and they had a play designed against man. The originals came out in man, and then they went to a zone, but the Army right now, Bam's Army's so good. Nice move right there into the lane. Brooks got into the paint, able to finish.
Buddy Boeheim is 7 of 9 from 3.
I think playing against NBA players every day for the last 2 weeks has put him in good stead.
And a blocking foul charged to Devin Brooks.
Foul number 21, Devin Brooks, his second. That's the first team foul of the fourth quarter.
Back in the ball game for Boeheim's Army is Elijah Hughes. He's had a wonderful debut. He's been as accurate as anyone, 4 of 7 on threes. Jacob Gilliard, 10 points, 10 assists, a double-double. Jimmy throwing the hook.
I tell you what, Jimmy is no joke either. He can play. He's better than I thought just watching him in person.
Stick back for Sam Sherry.
Again, the great thing about this Elam Ending, you finish on a made bucket. You don't just run the clock out.
Hughes for 3. Ends it. What a way to cap off your first TBT.
Well, and how often do you get a, 16-point win, 26-point win like that on a made bucket? The fans go crazy on the bucket.
Right. Very impressive performance. Hughes ends with 21. Buddy Boeheim finished with 24. And Boeheim's Army looked the part of a #1 seed.
Well, and fitting that they ended on a 3, right? They were as good as anyone this tournament has been this year on the three-point shooting. And look out, TBT. They're coming.
Yeah, this may be the team to beat this year. They look very strong, and they've got the advantage of playing at home.
Yeah, that's right.
Elijah Hughes nailing the Elam Ender.
And I'll tell you what, Bob, if they played at home, Carrier Dome, it wouldn't have the same feel that we have in this arena right here, SRC Arena. It feels really close, and the fans are filling it up, and you can really feel the energy.
And who will have the honor of putting that nameplate on the big board? A TBT tradition. The NCAA March Madness, they got that idea from TBT right here.
And I didn't know that till last year doing the games. And I always saw it. I remember TBT doing it forever. My guy, Kyle Fogg, who you covered a lot.
Yep.
My old buddy, a couple MVPs.
It's Elijah Hughes.
Nice. His first year with the squad, they gave it to him, and he showed out when he played and gets a little reward.
They have been waiting for him to join Boeheim's Army, and he did not disappoint tonight. What a player.
Well, not only how he played, it looked like he really enjoyed himself and was part of the team in a big way.
So these fans that packed SRC Arena tonight will be back on Monday for the semifinals as Boeheim's Army advances. We'll talk to the principals here in just a moment. A very well-played game by Boeheim's Army. It's not every day you see a 97-point total in TBT.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the game is not that long to score 97 points. We don't see it very often, and Coach Boeheim loving it over there on the side. Nice summer thing to come watch your two sons play, your old players play, and hear those fans.
The winning coach is Alan Griffin, and he is standing by with Sean.
Coach Griff, first head coaching appearance for you for Boeheim's Army, a convincing win. How'd it feel?
Great. I think our guys played hard. I think they played together. And in these tournaments like this, if you have those two things in order, you can do some damage.
You told me yesterday at practice that it was way more about what you guys did than the opposition. How do you use this win to keep on rolling through the tournament?
Yeah, definitely. Just making sure our guys understand, like, again, if you play together, you play hard, and you play smart, you know, anything can happen. And our guys did a really good job. We made some shots, and, you know, that's how we're going to play, and that's how we're going to win. We got to win by the 3.
One of those guys that was making shots was Elijah Hughes. I saw him slap the nameplate on the bracket back here. How good is it to see him back in orange?
Oh, great. You know, he's always been one of my favorites. So the chance to coach him right now is a blessing, and I'm pretty happy that he's with us.
Another guy making a lot of shots, Buddy Boeheim. He just got back from Vegas this morning. He kept that thing on automatic. How did he play today?
Great, lights out. I can't believe that he played that many minutes. He kept wanting to play, so you know, he's a warrior. He's playing with a lot because this is his name. You know, he's a Boeheim, so he's playing with a lot of pride and a lot of energy, so I'm happy that he's with us.
You played in Syracuse. You've coached in Syracuse. You're now coaching for Boeheim's Army. What was the appearance like from Orange Nation here today?
Orange Nation came out. It was great. It felt like a home game at the Dome, man. So I'm happy that they got the chance to see some of these old faces, and you know, hopefully next game we can still have the same crowd.
Congrats on the win. We'll see you Monday.
All right, thanks, bro.
Head coach Alan Griffin. His ball club ended up 18 of 29 on three-pointers. That is some major league shooting right there in any venue. And this man stole the show early and often, Buddy Boeheim.
Well, he got off on that first bank shot, laughed it off, had no problem having a little fun with it. And then you see these shots. These are not contested shots. Now, that doesn't mean you still have to make them, but it was just such great ball movement by this team. That's how they were able to knock them in.
We hope to be chatting with Buddy Boeheim in a moment. He's on with Syracuse Radio at the time, and we'll get Buddy here in just a minute. But this was as fine a shooting display as Buddy's and Boeheim's Army has had in TBT. And what a way to get your tournament started. This has to give you a tremendous boost of confidence to come out and play like this your first game.
Yeah, no question. And I think, you know, first I'm going to start with Alan Griffin, the coach, because I think an overlooked thing in this tournament is the coach and the organization. We remember all these players for when they played in college, and the Orange Nation is out here, but Alan Griffin did a great job with this team. He had them ready to play. They did the two things he asked: play hard and share the ball. And what happened when you share the ball? A ton of assists, a ton of made threes.
And speaking of making threes, Buddy Boeheim. He's standing by with Sean.
Making threes, he did it 7 out of 9 times today. Buddy Boeheim, welcome back to Syracuse, buddy.
Thanks, man. Great, always great to be back. My favorite place in the world, so nothing better.
You told me you were ready coming back from Vegas. You had that red eye last night. I was sure that you would be ready, but this ready, 7 for 9, how did it feel to be back on the court with these guys?
I think the adrenaline was there from the start, being out here, and the nerves were there, but just playing with Elijah, playing with, you know, Jacob Gilliard for the first time, playing with my brother, and all these great former Cuse guys, Rock and everyone, Chris. It was super fun, and there's nothing like it. So, you know, I was fired up from the start, and yeah, it didn't matter how many hours of sleep I got last night.
Your appearance in the TBT has been highly anticipated for a couple of years now. You're playing with Boeheim on the front of the jersey and the back of the jersey. What's your first TBT experience been like so far?
It's been amazing. Just reminded me of the old days in the Dome with, you know, this. I don't think there was a seat not filled tonight. So just to have that support for TBT and just any Syracuse event is special, and that was a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to the next one already and building off tonight.
One more, you mentioned Elijah Hughes. You played with him in his last collegiate game. It was a crazy win over North Carolina. You guys were the leading scorers for the Orange in that game. How great was it to be reunited with him tonight?
Yeah, I've played against him a good amount since college, and I'd rather be on this side of it. So it was a lot of fun. Me and E go way back. Have had chemistry for a while now, and just building off that, felt like it was just like, 5 years ago playing together. So, he's easy to play with.
Our play-by-play man, Bob, said what happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas. You brought that hot shooting back to Syracuse. Buddy, thanks for your time.
Appreciate it. Go Cuse.
Bob, back to you.
Okay, Sean, and tell Buddy from Matt and myself, take the rest of the night off.
That's right.
Go get some sleep.
Not going out tonight, huh?
We'll be back with more from Syracuse after this.